Having a weak bladder is something that I would not wish on my worst enemy. Tell me why me and my friend, we're in class, we're joking, we're cracking it up, and I feel something coming on. I'm like, right, girl, and oh, is everything... Stop bothering me! Okay. I remember this one time in like 2019, I was visiting my hometown again because I'm originally from Kansas. And my brother was like, hey, I'm gonna meet my friend. Like, do you wanna come? We can all hang out. I'm like, sure. Me and my brother are 5 years apart and I never got to hang out with him. So I was like, yes, sign me up. It gets a little late and we're chopping it up. We're laughing, we're having a great time. So one of my brother's friends told this like really funny joke and I can't remember it, but I remember it was so funny. I just could not stop laughing. Like, I laughed so hard to the point I pissed myself in front of everyone. And so, like, before we had went to a restaurant and everything. So what I did was I pretended that I accidentally tripped and I spilled water on myself. And the thing is, I actually had to spill the water on myself to make it look believable. And everybody was like, dang, that's messed up. Yo, let's just call it a night. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, okay, good. So we get into the car and my brother goes, what's that smell? Gee, I don't know, maybe I stepped in something or something could happen. Like, I don't know what that pee smell could be. Like, I didn't even say I smelled pee. Shit. You know what? The reason for all this, the reason for all my hardships and my pain and suffering, never being able to fully laugh, is because of my second grade teacher. Oh, where is she? This lady right here in her old lady perm. Look, there's me. This teacher will call me fatty, a slut, because I was super messy, but that was beside the point. Every single time that I asked to go to the bathroom, she would not let me. She would not let me. I even think I peed myself one time, and this was like kids abuse or child's abuse. I like to pretend that that ugly perm wig was a mind controlling device and that it was derived from the greatest pits of hell, crafted by Satan himself. Who you look like telling kids they can't use a bathroom, and now I'm... But yeah, anyways, bye.
I caught my teenage daughter cheating on her boyfriend, and this is what I did. I have two daughters. The oldest one is Lizzie and the youngest one is Mackenzie. Now, their father and I divorced a few years back because I found out that he was having an affair. That's an important detail to note. Now, currently our custody agreement is that I have them majority of the time. He has them every other weekend, and then he gets them more during the summer. Now, my oldest daughter, Lizzie, is 17 years old, and she has been dating her boyfriend, Jacob, who's 18, for about a year now, if not like a little over a year. And Jacob is such a sweet boy. He's super kind. He's respectful. He's over all the time. And I honestly don't mind it because, like I said, he's just really respectful. He always talks, you know, very politely, uses manners. Like, he just seems like a very, very good boy. I think he's even going to be like valedictorian of their class. Like, you can just tell, like, he's a good boy. At this point, we've known him for a year, and I know his family, just like a really, really good kid. So about a week ago, I walk by Lizzie's room and I hear her talking on the phone. I can hear, like, I can't tell who the other person on the other line is, but her phone's up so loud, like, I can definitely tell it's a guy and not a girl. And she was being very flirty, like, just typical, like, teenage flirt, okay? And at first I was like, oh, she's talking to Jacob, of course. You know how teenagers are, like, very clearly talking to her boyfriend. But then as I walk back by her room, I hear her say Brandon. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know who the heck Brandon is. Like, who's Brandon? So I'm trying to do like this whole thing where I'm not really in her business, even though I kind of am in her business. I think there's a fine line as a teen parent where you want to be involved and you want to know what's going on because you want to keep them safe, obviously, and you want to make sure that they're not making any decisions that they shouldn't be, but you also want to give them some sort of freedom and trust that you've raised them correctly enough where they're not going to make crazy mistakes, right? Everyone's going to make mistakes, I know this, but I just try not to be like super involved, like overpowering, in hopes that, you know, she will talk to me if she needs to. So I don't say anything at this time. The following weekend, after I've heard this phone conversation with someone named Brandon, and Lizzie mentions that she's going to go to the mall with some friends. Totally fine, not out of the normal for her to do that. So I look out the window, she's getting ready to leave. She's got her stuff, she's put on her coat at the door, all the things. Leaves, I look out the window just to see like who she's going with because she never said. So I look out the window and I see that she's getting in the car with a different guy. Again, not Jacob. Now, what threw me off, though, even more is that she greets this guy with a kiss. And that's when I was like, okay, we need to have a conversation. It's my ex-husband's weekend, so I didn't see Lizzie after she went to the mall with this guy who I'm assuming is Brandon at this time, right? So when Lizzie comes back, it's Monday after school. She's home, per usual. I plan to talk to her that evening. But then all of a sudden, Jacob shows up, which is not out of the normal for a Monday for us because we don't typically have a ton of activities going on Mondays. So Monday was a normal day for Jacob to be there. And they're acting like a normal couple, like nothing is going on. They're holding hands, you know, they're being flirty. They're just being their normal selves. Like nothing was out of the ordinary, except for I'm dying inside wondering who the heck is Brandon and poor freaking Jacob. Honestly, I'm a little disgusted that my daughter's being a little two-timer, it seems. And after Jacob leaves that evening, I tell her that we need to have a conversation. I just straight ask her, I said, are you cheating on Jacob with a different guy? And of course, I get the typical teenager response, like, it's none of my business. It's none of my concern. She's almost an adult. I need to butt out, all the things, right? Like your typical 17, almost 18-year-old response. Now, I told her that I did not raise her to be this way and that I would not stand for her treating someone that way. Jacob did not deserve that. And honestly, she didn't deserve it either. And she just kind of told me that she was bored with Jacob and she wasn't sure that she wanted to break up with him, but that this Brandon guy was exciting and new. And now look, I get it. Like I said, she's 17. Jacob is 18. They're in the same grade. They're seniors this year. Like, I get the raging hormones and maybe being bored or, you know, thinking that you can find better elsewhere. Like, they're young. I totally get that. Totally get it. However, I did not raise you to be this way. I told her if she wasn't happy, she needed to break up with Jacob. They were young, it would be fine, but that cheating was absolutely unacceptable and that she would have consequences to her actions and she needed to be honest with Jacob. I even told her, like, how would you feel if the roles were reversed and you found out he was cheating on you? Like, you would be devastated, so don't do that to somebody else. She, of course, got a teenage attitude with me. It was a whole situation, so I grounded her, and I also told her that she couldn't go on her senior trip. Parents of teens who are currently split from their significant other, you guys will probably understand this. But of course, after I grounded her, what does she do? I'm going to Dad's. And there she went. She went to her dad's. I kind of expected it. It's always really frustrating to me when they try to play parents against each other. I really don't like that. But also she's at the age where I really can't say anything. If it came down to a court issue, they would allow her to pick that she wanted to go over there anyway. And with my ex-husband not really being super helpful in this avenue because he wants to be the fun parent, I was kind of stuck either way. So I had no choice but to let her go. Now, of course, my ex-husband calls me and tells me that I'm being unreasonable and that I shouldn't let my bitterness against him, I shouldn't take that out, I should say, on his daughter. Now, here's where I need help. I don't think that I'm in the wrong by giving her consequences to her actions. I do not want her thinking that doing things like this and treating people like this are okay, especially without any type of consequence. However, am I being unreasonable by taking away her high school senior trip? Is that too harsh of a punishment to teach her this lesson?